2 years of organizing the Eras Tour is huge for Taylor and her crew. So I strongly believe that they deserve a year-long break or so. In fact, I don't think we're getting any new Taylor Swift content in 2025 aside from the usual merch drops. Ladies and gentlemen, Swifties included, we have broken the fucking internet. Hey guys, and welcome to the TS12 era. And as you can see, I have this Tom Brady jersey right over here, number 12 there. You know, gonna be in the TS12 era, and of course a TB12. But I digress. But you came here for this video because we are going to go through my predictions of TS12, which now has the title of The Life of a Showgirl. So let's get right into the predictions because we've already seen the New Heights podcast. I mean, sure, there are some problems with the podcast, you know, the one on YouTube, but obviously you can listen to it audio only. But with the podcast now over, it is time for me to give you my predictions of TS12. So with that being said, let's jump right in. So let's talk about the elephant in the room first, and that is, what will the album sound like? So what will the album sound like? Is it going to be similar to the albums of before, like Midnights, Folklore, Evermore, Tortured Poets, all that things? Or could it be back to its roots, as in, like, you know, Red, 1989, Reputation, and all that? And I could say that all eyes are pointing towards like the more back to its roots approach, because Taylor has confirmed that the producers behind TS12 is Max Martin and Shellback. And you've already know who Max Martin and Shellback are, and they are the producers for like some of the songs in Red, 1989, and Reputation. And based on the songs that I listen to that are co-produced by Max Martin and Shellback, it really gets to show you that it is leaning towards this more happy, glittery pop, like, you know, like you hear in like 1989, Reputation, and Red. So I think that is where we can just like toss all the depressions aside, like all the like these haters that says like, oh, like this is like really depressing songs. Well, you can put that shit aside because make way for, sorry for the random cut, I think a plane just flew by me. But as I was saying, we're going to go back to the roots of, like, you know, the bops, the bangers, the happy songs, the Taylor Revolt. So, and that is what I think that I'm really excited about TS12, because it's like we're going back to that. Because for like Folklore, Evermore, Midnights, Tortured Poets, it just feels like it's way too long. Ever since like we got like the last time we got like the happy kind of songs, 1989 Red. So it is a very long time, and I think in 2025 we are definitely getting that kind of like these bops, that. Now, if you want specifics of the bops, how is it gonna sound like? Well, I wanted to say pop rock, but the fact that Max Martin and Shellback are producing this album, I don't think that's gonna happen, but I think it might happen, maybe. But I think synth pop will be like for most of the songs. However, I might expect like some songs to be like slow, you know what I mean? Because you got track 5, and as far as I know of track 1, the title of track 1 makes me feel like is gonna be like another slow song, because of like the fate, that fate. It just feels like it's something more of like emotional or something like that, but I could be wrong though. But yeah, it is going to be a back to its roots, kind of like pop music, all those bangers, bops, and all that. So gone-worthies, like depressing songs that these haters want to say. But if you want all these happy songs, if you want all those bops that you wanted, I think TS12 is where we are getting. Next up, will there be a deluxe album? Because think about it. The release date for the normal edition is October 3rd. But if you look previously, it says like it's shipped like October 13th or something. It's like a tentative date. But the fact that TS12 has released earlier, October 3rd, I just have a suspicion that on October 13th, something might still be released at that date. I mean, think about it. Like October 13th, I'm definitely sure, yes, the number's 13. That's all we know of. That's obvious. But October 13th, we could have something. We could have like some sort of like a deluxe album in the sense, right? And to further back up on why I think that it's gonna be a deluxe album is, well, the extra tracks, obviously. But if I had to say like how many tracks are gonna be in the deluxe version of TS12, I think it's gonna be 21. I think 21 or either 22s, but I think I'm going to say 21 because hear me out on this. Hear me out on this, okay? Hear me out. There are 12 tracks in the original version. So that means if you buy the normal one, you get 12 tracks. However, maybe in the deluxe version, if it does exist, if it's confirmed to be coming out, or maybe like in October 13 or something, that's my theory, I think we're going to get like 9 bonus tracks to make it 21. And to make things much more sense, if you flip the two numbers, 1 and 2, from 12, you just flip it around, you get 21. So that's the closest number I can get, 21. I'm not stupid, but I think if we want to say how many extra tracks, I would say 9 because 12 plus 9, that would be 21. You flip the number from 12, that'll give you 21. Again, I'm not stupid. So, if I'm definitely sure that if Taylor could prove us right, maybe not, that on October 13th, that there will be a deluxe album that contains like 9 extra tracks combined with the 12 normal tracks, and that would give you 21. Because I knew about it. Because like back in Tortured Poets, at 2 a.m., she released the anthology. And then at midnight, she also released the late night edition. Like shit like this. It makes me feel that something might be done similarly with TS12, and I can be proven right on this. But who knows? Maybe I could be proven wrong. Clown all you want, put it in the comments, do whatever shit you want. But just to be, theoretically speaking, hypothetical or something, I don't know, TS12 will have a deluxe edition with 9 extra tracks, releasing October 13th. And I'm locking it in. Now, this one, I knew it's way too early to ask. I know it's way too early to ask, but will there be an accompanying tour? Because think about it. You've seen it all. You've seen it all. After the album's released, like a year later, she will go on tour. And I know, yes, we do have the Eras tour. I mean, I myself expected that Taylor is going to have a break like for like a year from the Eras tour, because Eras tour was so big. Like, I mean, it's so big that like you really need some rest. You know what I mean? But given the fact that Taylor has gone all her way to basically like show us that she's very hardworking behind the scenes, releasing TS12, I think for behind the scenes, maybe they are going to do another tour accompanying TS12. I don't know what the tour name is going to be, but I'm definitely sure that there will be some announcement. There might be some announcement about a tour coming up. Because think about it. What happened at Midnights? After Midnight was released in late 2022 or maybe around early 2023, I couldn't remember, Taylor has announced the Eras tour, and boom, the rest is history. And the fact that TS12, The Life of a Showgirl, will be releasing on October 3rd, 2025, that will give her like more time, and basically for all of the time for Swifties to like dive into the album, you know what I'm saying. Probably on December 13th, 2025, Taylor Swift will announce a tour based on the TS12 album. Because I have heard like rumors floating around the internet. They can be true, they can be false, but I'm gonna assume that they're false unless confirmed. But I'm gonna assume that these rumors might be false, but it might be true at the same time. But the stage of like this potential TS12 tour is basically the general stage. The shape is gonna be like a lock. Basically, it's gonna be like a lock, because the lock is that obviously you've seen it in like the teaser, like before the album cover is even released. It's gonna be the stage design is gonna be like a lock. Once again, I apologize for the random cut because a lot of planes are flying by near my house. Actually, it's like, man, it's a really busy day. You know what I'm saying? But where was I? Yes, the stage is gonna have like this lock. So the lock is gonna be like the shape of it. That will be like the part of the stage design, based on the rumors that I've seen. So based on this rumor, I think it's safe to say, for me at least, safe to assume that Taylor had already like went through like started planning on like this new tour for like 2026. And I think 2026 will be like the great year for the tour, because think about it. 2026 marks the 20th year of Taylor Swift making music, right? It's 20 years. And Taylor wanted to celebrate the occasion, and possibly I think she's going to do the TS12 tour. And when it comes to the tour, I don't think it's going to like match like the Eras tour. I mean, how could you top the Eras tour? Like the Eras tour is like the magnum opus of Taylor Swift's tours. I don't think like she could match that kind of peak, if you know what I'm saying. But one thing's for certain, I think the technology from the Eras tour can be carried over to this new hypothetical TS12 tour. So, yeah, with that being said, watch the space, and hopefully, if I'm correct, on December 13th, Taylor might announce the tour based on the TS12 album. Or maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it's for like a Eras tour behind the scenes documentary that other Swifties are also pointing out. But anyways, December, I'm locking in my prediction. She's going to announce a TS12 tour. And now we are down to my final prediction. And it is going to be the wildest prediction I'm going to have. I could be proven wrong, but I think Taylor Swift will be the halftime show performer of Super Bowl 60. All right, hear me out. Because yes, Taylor went to new heights. That's for sure. But I believe she's going to take one step further, and she will be performing for the first time in Super Bowl history, performing at Levi's Stadium during the halftime show of Super Bowl 60. And of course, it includes the songs from like, TS12, The Life of a Showgirl. However, she will also add in like songs from like 1989 or Reputation and all that. Just to fit like a 13 minutes, like the average runtime of a halftime show. So that is going to be my wild prediction. And yeah, not really much to say about the halftime show, but just to bring it here, like as my wild prediction, Taylor Swift will be the performer for Super Bowl 60. Once again, I could be proven wrong, but out of all the predictions I've made in this video, this has got to be the wildest one. And I will not be surprised, and maybe some Swifties will be surprised, that Taylor is going to be the Super Bowl 60 halftime show. But that is my wildest prediction, and that is going to be my final prediction. Taylor Swift being the performer for Super Bowl 60, and I am locking that in as my final prediction. But ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my predictions of TS12, The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift. And before we go, just some general idea on the release. Well, I'm from Singapore, so if you are fans from Singapore, well, of course, the album's going to be released globally on October 3rd, 2025. So that means the United States will have the physical album copies first, vinyl, CD, cassettes, you name it. But for Singapore, like I am in, well, you gotta have to wait for like at least 1 week until the shipment arrives to Singapore, because I've seen it with the Torture Poets Department Manuscript Edition and then the Torture Poets Anthology. So for Singapore, especially the fans from Singapore who watches my content, you gotta have to wait for like at least a week so that you can receive the physical copies of TS12, CDs, vinyls, cassettes, all that. But for the digital release, especially if you're streaming it, it's going to be day and date. So that will come first, and then shipment of the physical copies, vinyl, CDs, cassettes. Again, I don't know how many times I'm saying that, but they'll be arriving at physical store shelves 1 week after the album's release. So yeah, that's the general idea of how the album's gonna be released, especially like if you're living the US, Singapore, it kind of gives you like an idea of when are they gonna come out so that you'll be ready for it. And yeah, that concludes this video of predicting what TS12 is gonna be like. Do let me know in the comments about your predictions, and maybe there are some predictions that I might be missing out on. Maybe there's something that I'm wrong about, but please do let me know in the comments below. And that really is much it for this video. If you do enjoy this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more content. And man, we're in this new era, boys, ladies and gentlemen, Swifties, all that, whatever. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.